I think we can all agree that the current state of Destiny 2 PvP right now is a little weird. Obviously, the Solar 3.0 changes, the artifact mod, giving stuff to pulse rifles, and a bunch of other outliers as well make the state of the game feel like you're not really rewarded on, gunplay, and even necessarily skill for that matter. So in this video, I wanted to talk about, the state of gunplay, number one, and number two, talking about the skill-based matchmaking and other changes that are going to be coming in Season 18 that were mentioned in the TWAB. Let's just dive right into it because I don't want this video to be super long and there's a good amount of stuff that I want to cover. So first up, I want to talk about gunplay. I think we've all heard Bungie mention it time and time again about how, guys, we want to focus on the gunplay of the game. Gunplay should be the main thing, not necessarily just ability spam, right? And personally, I think the gunplay in the game feels pretty good right now. I see almost every gun used in the Crucible, except for maybe select auto rifles and sidearms, which again, that they can be buffed and that's fine. But I'm seeing pretty much every weapon type in the Crucible. Obviously, special weapon wise, I'm seeing snipers, shotguns, fusion. Obviously glaives are glaives are a whole nother thing. Obviously, if you do the glaive cheese, like you can do a one shot with the glaive. The shield with the glaive is absolutely OP, and I could talk about that later. But I saw a video on glaives in general. It's like how to counter glaives, and it's like they gave like 4 or 5 options, but the main ones that would actually work is using Wither Horde, and the second one would be using stasis so you can freeze the person. And all the other ones were like throw a grenade behind the target, like use divinity. I'm like, who wants to change the divinity for PvP? That makes absolutely no sense to me. Like even change into stasis. Like I think Wither Horde's like a fairly popular option, so I think that one's like fairly reasonable. In any event, I think the state of gunplay in the game is pretty good. I just don't like it when they say, guys, we want to focus on gunplay, but then make the abilities super overpowered in PvP. Obviously right now the main thing is classy restoration. Everyone loves classy restoration. Restoration in general is it needs a tuning of some sort, because I swear I shoot one guy, runs around the corner, drops a healing grenade on himself, that uses a class ability. There's a lot of other problems with restoration. It just doesn't feel like I'm rewarded for skill in the game currently. And obviously it's more than just Solar 3.0. You have the Barricade, Titan ability spam, Omnioculus, Cold Snap grenades, camping in the back of the map, no time, Dead Man's Tail. Again, there's plenty of other things in the game that need balanced out as well. I don't know. I just don't like that they're like, guys, we're going to focus on gunplay, but then the ability is the thing that you're going to be crutching on the most. And it's very evident that it's happening. Now let's dive into the TWAB. So obviously skill-based matchmaking is going to be returning for Season 18, and I'm just going to be covering a few of the things. I'm not going to be talking about everything. If you want to read the full TWAB thing, just go to bungie.net, go to news. It'll be the most recent TWAB on July 28th. So pretty much, let's talk about skill and connection. So first off here, main thing to know, the whole goal is making fair matches using skill-based matchmaking is going to be important for this goal they're trying to reach. And again, they're starting by implementing a loose skill-based matchmaking in the control playlist next season. They define that as a wider starting skill similarity than survival, and should result in matchmaking with a wider variety of players and eliminating some of the frustrations we see in the current system. I think the current system, when it comes to control, there is no skill-based matchmaking, so I don't see what the frustration is there. Moving on, expect loose skill-based matchmaking to expand, I don't know how to talk, to other playlists in future seasons as we tune it to consider what a quote-unquote high-quality match is, and we'll talk about that one here in a sec. And again, they're not planning to add it to every Crucible playlist. Thank the Lord, they're going to keep us updated with tuning and blah, 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 blah. So, talking about high-quality matches, what is the goal of a high-quality match? All players, whether solo or with a Fireteam, can find a place in the Crucible where they can play a variety of matches and have a reasonable chance of winning/competing. They define reasonable as an expected win rate between 40 and 60%. Now, I think that's great that everyone has a 50-50 shot pretty much right off the bat every match, but also I don't like that. And the reason I don't like that is because this next part right here. Players are rewarded based on their skill and proud of their skill. I find it kind of ludicrous that you're saying, be proud of my skill, but then I'm being put with people that are pretty much at my skill, which is going to lead to pretty much trades. So 1 death, 1 kill, 1 death, 1 kill, having a 1 KD. Everyone has 1 KD. Everyone has a 50% chance to win. That means every game is going to be coming down right down to the wire every match. I personally don't like that. I think obviously mercy is a whole nother thing, and we're going to talk about that later as well. But again, the amount of times I mercy, especially like solo, is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I just find it hard to be proud of my skill if literally everybody else that I'm playing against has similar skill, which automatically means we're going to be trading a lot. That just confuses me. Last thing here, reserve a place for players who do not want to engage in the skill system. Thank God. Next, talking about the skill system. Again, if you want to come here and read through all this is pretty much a graph showing player skill. As you can see, most of this stuff is what you consider above average. I'm not going to be talking about all this. I just want to talk about the main points here. If someone is 200 skill above you, you can definitely tell they're better than you, and they will win 75% of the games against you. The opposite is true if someone is 200 or more below you. By the time you get to a difference of 400, again, it's off of like a 2000 scale, negative 1000, 2000. Again, better players are going to win 90% of engagements, and then low skill players need to get extremely lucky to pull off a win, or just camp on the back of the map with DMT. I don't know, figure out. It's a joke. It's a joke. Once you get a difference of 600, there's basically zero chance of a lower skill player ever winning. Engagements should be fair, and the closer you get to the same skill, I guess that's their goal. Now, I kind of see that where, you know, putting in someone who's a new light, for example, and they hop into, you know, the Crucible, and then they're put up against a 6 stack right off the bat. And I'm going to be talking about, you know, matchmaking numbers later in the video. But I don't know. Bungie's had a history of having skill-based matchmaking in their game and it not working out. Understand that this might be a little different approach. I don't know. I just don't think that being like, hey, everybody, we're all gonna have the same skill in the game. No one's gonna really improve if everyone's gonna have a 1 KD and everyone's gonna have the same amount of kills. You know, that's just the vibe that I'm picking up right now. Another thing they mentioned is connection-based matchmaking. Pretty much, they're gonna identify a pool of players with a good connection to you. Within that pool, they're gonna choose players with the best connections that they can. If they can't find enough players, they widen the variance in connection, and they repeat until they have enough players in the game. Pretty much, they're trying to fix, you know, any type of latency issues with the game, which, you know, I think that's good. Same thing with skill-based matchmaking. Again, they're going to identify a pool of players with a good connection to you. Within that pool, they're going to choose players that are closely matched to your personal skill ranking. If they can't find players, they're going to widen that. If that doesn't work, they expand the search again to find, you know, a variance in connection quality. And once the players are selected, they break them into equally skilled teams, so they try to even it out. So what they're going to be looking at while they tune it, again, they're going to be working on matchmaking times. Again, we don't want the 10-minute matchmaking like we had before. Again, matchmaking right now is fairly quick. Next up, mercy games. There's a chart on here as well. Pretty much mercy games can be as low as 5% and up to as high as 25% out of 100 when that comes to, you know, quitting a match, actually winning a match, or, you know, the timer runs out. But pretty much they think that mercy games should be under 5% for all maps, not actually hit 0. I don't think it should be under 5%. I think it should, personally, I think it should be like 10, maybe 15, but under 5%, I don't know. They say not actually hit 0, but 5% is a very small amount of games. Pretty much like 1 out of every, you know, 20 games is going to be a mercy. I think that's so wild. Final score differential, again, we already talked about this. They want pretty much every match to be pretty close to each other. Yeah, under 10-point difference between two teams. I think that's a little unreasonable as well. Less variance between the top player and the bottom player. I can kind of see that depending on how new the player is. I think there's a lot of factors when it comes into that they do kind of address in here. But again, for something like their loose skill-based matchmaking, it doesn't sound awful. I just know that in the past, that skill-based matchmaking when it comes to a 6v6 casuals playlist is just not good. I know it's only going to be for control, and, you know, maybe in the future they'll only have like one playlist when it comes to that, but I don't feel like hopping into a game where it's pretty much going to be 50-50 the entire time. There's no way I'm going to be able to hit clips. Everyone's going to have the same amount of kills as me. Everyone's going to have the same KD. The score is going to be very, very close pretty much up until the end. Like, I do not find that fun as a PvP experience. Like I said, I understand there's new players. I understand there's a lot of skill disparity. Like, again, maybe we could set up something for that, but Bungie's skill-based matchmaking in the past has just not worked out. Fireteam size mismatches. This is what I want to talk about. Holy crap. It is so wild to me that I am a solo player and I go into casual 6s in control, and I'm up against 5 to 6 stacks constantly. There's no point to me even hopping into that game, in all honesty. Probably 95% of the matches that I hop into, let's say 5 to 6 squad, Like, we're losing the game automatically. That's just how it goes. It doesn't matter how good or bad the players are. All the players could be bad, but if I'm getting team shot by 5 players, it's over. Like, I know plenty of content creators that have admitted this. Like, I heard it from True Vanguard, I heard it from other creators. Whenever they're getting footage or like on stream and they're just in like casual 6s, if they see a 5 or 6 stack, they're leaving the match. And there's no penalty for it either, which is extremely wild. In any event, Bungie will be implementing a form of Fireteam size preferred matchmaking in Season 19, so not next season, the season after. Again, they'll be sharing the details closer to the release, but again, the goal is for it to be utilized like skill, sometimes as a strict requirement, sometimes as a loose one, or sometimes not at all. That seems very loose worded. It'll allow us to eventually replicate the benefits of playing in a freelance playlist without having to split the population. I do like that a lot, especially when it comes to casual 6s. If they just implemented this for 6s and that's it, I think that's perfectly fine. Because when it comes to 3s, or like, I don't think that really matters. Like, I think the skill-based matchmaking is way more preferred in that type of sense if they want to implement that. But when it comes to 6s, I do not want to face a full 6 stack. It's just not, that's a no-go. But guys, those are my thoughts on the current state of PvP. As most of you guys know, I go into the Crucible using a variety of weapons, variety of exotics. I try out different builds. That is my thing that I like to do on stream. That is something I like to do with the community as well. And, you know, I'm hoping with the upcoming TWABs that we're getting before the next season, they're going to be covering the changes to Solar 3.0, particularly Restoration, obviously, and a couple other exotics and weapons as well. So I'm hoping, especially glaives, I hope they cover that stuff here. But I will be coming out with some PvP oriented videos, one with the Omnioculus Hunter. Now I know, like, Omnioculus is like very OP right now. Invis is still very rampant in the Crucible. And then also talking about Warlocks with Icarus Dash and why I like sniping a lot on Warlock in particular versus the other 2 classes. And also why I think Warlocks are severely disadvantaged currently compared to Titans and Hunters. I'll be talking about a couple other things here on the channel in the coming weeks before the next season. So, if you guys like what you saw, again, you can always drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then turn that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another video. We also do have memberships available that will give you exclusive emotes and stuff when I go live on YouTube. Again, I'm getting set up to also go live on YouTube and maybe switch over to YouTube from Twitch, and we'll see how that goes. But again, I do stream on Twitch 3 nights a week. Again, that is twitch.tv/ItsDaveTVGaming. That link will be in the description. And then also, if you want to play with me, if you want to hang out with my community, whether it's gaming related, Destiny 2, Apex, Valorant, or even anything from PC tech to anime, I do have a Discord. That link will be in the description as well. Anyway, guys, hope to catch you in the next video. Cheers.